Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana. And we're here today with special guest, Terri Harford, who's here to share with us her Nautilus award-winning book, New Body, Old Soul, a modern mystic's guide to spiritual empowerment in the age of AI. What if the key to understanding your life today was hidden in a past life you've already lived? Well, today's guest is here to share with us just that. Terri Harford is an existential psychologist, soul coach, and author of the Nautilus award-winning book, New Body, Old Soul, a powerful exploration of consciousness, karma, and spiritual transformation. With a BA in Fine Art from the University of Cape Town and a BA with honors in psychology from UNISA, Terri blends her artistic insights with psychological depth to guide others on the path of self-realization. Drawing from over 2 decades of meditative practice, shadow work, and soul inquiry, she bridges the realms of physics and spirituality to illuminate the deeper purpose behind existence. Based along South Africa's Garden Route, Terri lives in harmony with nature's rhythms, nurturing a sacred bond with the land and a community of like-minded seekers devoted to spiritual awakening. So welcome to the show, Terri Harford.
Thank you, Marianne. It is an absolute delight to be here today.
Well, what an honor it is to have you here and to talk about this award-winning book. Congratulations, by the way, on your Nautilus Book Award. What a huge accomplishment.
Thank you. I'm delighted, surprised, I'm thrilled. I never expected it, and I'm just so happy that I can have this opportunity to share this work with the world.
Well, I'm so glad that you have as well. It's such a phenomenal book. And I have to ask you, what inspired you to write New Body, Old Soul, especially at this pivotal time in human history?
So it is a pivotal time, and there is so much turbulence in the world, and there is also so much wonder and joy. And we are living in a time where there is a huge, rapid advancement of technology, especially racing towards AI and deeper learning and all these things that we need to integrate. And we are also at the same time having a large spiritual awakening. So you can call it a quantum leap in human consciousness. And these two types of knowledge are running side by side, racing ahead, and are almost polarized in our existence. And they are both here to teach us about the nature of reality and about the nature of our being. And one is very technical technology, and it is the practical application of science. And the other is more mystical. It is the application of science towards soul development and expansion. And these two are contradictory and also complementary. So it's a fascinating time to be alive. And it is also a really important time to reflect on how do we create soul sanctuary for our soul in an age of rapid change in a 4-dimensional universe of space, time, and flux.
Well, I know in your book you mentioned that we're ancient souls on an evolutionary journey. How can people begin to recognize the signs of their own soul's past lives?
So, in a sense, a soul gets triggered by emotions. And this emotional reactivity is a huge sign. It's like a luminous signpost to say, something's going on here. I'm being charged. Why? Why am I red hot under the collar? Why is this person bothering me so much? Why is that situation really getting to me? And I'm becoming confused or disorientated or fragmented because now I'm in conflict. I'm in inner conflict. And this is the soul that is indicating that we have unconscious triggers. We have actually lived multiple lifetimes over multiple incarnations. And we are here in this incarnation as an individualizing soul consciousness to become more aware of what our karma is and what we need to do to really take care of unfinished business. So, to balance the scale, so to speak, of the karma that we may have accrued from past lifetimes as an ancient soul, and also to really optimize this life experience so that we don't recapitulate the past, so that we don't keep on doing the same thing over and over again, that we don't just run on autopilot, on automatic thinking and make the same mistakes, but we actually get to live life anew from a fresh perspective and optimize our experience here.
Well, that is just so empowering how that all comes together. And it has me thinking of AI. And gosh, we're in a world that's being rapidly transformed by AI. So, what role does individualized consciousness play in shaping our spiritual future?
So, when we look at AI, it is really important to see it for what it is. It's actually an amalgamation of human knowledge, and human knowledge is expansive and vast, and is tapping into our knowledge, our collective soul knowledge, and is putting together a picture of not only the knowledge that we know, but the knowledge that we have forgotten through linguistics, through stories, through ancient myth and metaphor, and is doing so at such a rapid speed that scientists think that the AI is tapping into a quantum reality, but it's actually tapping into us, into our consciousness. And we need to remain empowered about that fact because we know things as human beings through developed and cultivated intuition, call it spiritual gravitas, that we have accumulated over lifetimes. And as a collective, we are immensely powerful. And we have an emergent consciousness as a group of souls that are traversing through the space time continuum, reincarnating over and over again to learn certain soul lessons together. Now, the AI is an artificial intelligence, it is vastly more powerful than one person in an individualized consciousness, in one person as a person learning about life in an experiential and perceptual reality. And it is heartless and it is soulless. So if we hand over our power to something that is heartless and soulless, and we don't take back our spiritual empowerment while this is happening, we could find ourselves being harnessed, having our spiritual liberties taken away from us by a machine.
There are definitely some consequences there that we really have to pay attention to. One
Yes.
one of the things I really appreciate about your book is you explore karmic codes that are embedded in our DNA. How do these codes influence the choices we make and the people we attract into our lives?
So, our entire universe is made out of energy. As we know from Einstein's equation of E equals mc squared, energy is matter times the speed of light cubed. Now, the speed of light cubed is an unfathomably large number, but it is the conversion. Light is the conversion, densification of how we come into material form in the body. So, what happens is that our human consciousness is an experience of distilled experience. It is a quintessence that is accrued over lifetimes, and it comes with us into each incarnation as part of our DNA. So, for a good example of that, is that when we are discarnate and we are about to come into the body for another incarnation, we are in a vibrational frequency. So we are not yet embodied. We are not an embryo in the mother's womb. And we are vibrating at a certain frequency. And this is becoming magnetically attracted to the mother's womb into which we are about to incarnate. So we come into the womb on a soul level and we start to grow in the womb and then we are born. And we actually choose a specific family and a set of life circumstances that will optimize our soul expansion and development. So our vibration connects with the mother's vibration and the whole family that we're going to incarnate in. And this is encoded in our DNA. And with it, it carries ancestral memories, epigenetics, magnetic attraction to circumstances that we know may be challenging. But we also know that the body is the fastest way that we can actually undertake soul expansion because we need to be in an embodied form to actually grow our soul.
That is so empowering how you explain that. Can you explain the difference? And I know this is kind of a big question here between soulmates, twin flame, and karmic relationships.
Yes, so I will talk about them loosely. And remember, anything that I talk about, if it resonates as true for you, it is. And if it's not, it's not. So my understanding of soulmate connections are that a soulmate connection is a connection where you feel like you resonate with another and you feel as if a person is a kindred spirit, so to speak, who really understands you and gets you in life. Whereas a karmic relationship is a relationship that is fraught with conflict. And in this type of relationship, and it's usually an intimate partner relationship, you have been attracted to this person on an intimate level to learn certain things about yourself, and then that it might not be a pleasant experience. It's going to be full of contradiction, it's going to be full of conflict, but it is here to advance your soul expansion. And generally speaking, you're not supposed to stay in a karmic relationship because you can grow quite well outside of a relationship that brings you a lot of despair. And then there is also the twin flame relationship, and it is more alluding to the relationship that exists within yourself. And it is the masculine and feminine energies, the principles that reside in you on an energetic level. But any external reflection of that could gravitate towards you, and you may meet a person that really challenges you on a soul level, but that also you can expand quickly with, and that is the twin flame relationship. But the most important thing about this relationship is to know that it is actually the relationship that you have with yourself, to yourself, between male and female principles within. And anything that you attract into your life will only be a reflection of the work that you've done within, the inner work.
It has us kind of looking at this in a new light where we need to do that inner work.
Yes, and it's good motivation. Yes, we're here because we are living in a universe of relationships. Everything is in relationship to everything else. E equals MC squared. It's the theory of relativity. And we are here to engage in contrast and comparison of who we are. So we have in our universe of relativity, we have light and dark, we have day and night, we have expansion and contraction, matter and antimatter, positivity and negativity, male and female, order and chaos. And out of this comes life and life force. And so we're always holding these extreme opposites in dynamic balance and tension. And we have proof of this because we can actually see that our entire solar system, our planetary system, orbits around our star, the sun, and it's in perfect balance and harmony. In fact, in such perfect balance that we are in a habitable zone within our universe where we have this incredible, remarkable biodiversity of life on the planet. Now, the universe is just a remarkably inspiring place. And I'd like to just talk a little bit more about that because it's something I'm very passionate about. And the most important thing to understand while we are living through this life full of challenges and challenges on a personal level and on an interpersonal level is that we live in a universe that is 93 billion light years in diameter. Now, if we wanted to traverse this universe, it would take us about, let's say, 111 quadrillion years. And that is 8 million times the actual age of our universe, which is 13.8 billion years approximately. Now, if we wanted to cross our Milky Way galaxy, just our galaxy, it would take us about 120 billion years, traveling at, let's say, 900 kilometers an hour. And we have something called the Drake equation, which is the equation that we use to tell us of the probability of civilizations or life that is similar to our own. And even if we had to calculate it 0.1% of our universe would contain billions of Earth like planets like our own. And what we are seeing by our James Webb telescope, which is going out into space, is that these civilizations are nowhere to be found. We can't see them yet. So this means that our planet is incredibly rare. And the sheer amount of biodiversity just on our planet, different types of consciousness that we coexist with, um, is just magnificent, really. And all these different consciousnesses, mineral, animal, human, plant, all have vastly different perspectives on life, different consciousnesses, different adaptations for evolution and survival. And what is really important about this is that we create meaning in our universe. As human beings, we are the magic meaning makers. And we do this through relationship with others and relationship to our cosmos, to our universe, to the divine, to our sacred self. And this makes us truly, truly unique, remarkably rare, and definitely not random.
In your book, you talk about dissolving karmic cycles. How can we
Yes.
do that?
To bring it back to our earthly existence, so I've given you a bit of a background on our cosmos and the importance of understanding ourselves in context of multiple incarnations. What we need to understand about karma is that it gives us life purpose. And also, karma is not a punishment. It is not a paying off of a debt, like many people believe, because that's almost a very almost religious sort of take on it. Karma is a governing principle of dynamic equilibrium and balance. It is the universal justice that we find in the universe. So, how do we dissolve our karmic cycles? We look at where we are in this universe. We look at why we are here in this universe relative to what I've just explained about the size of it. We look at why we are born into a certain country, into certain family dynamics, and we look at the opposition and conflict that we find in our life and the challenges. And these are real gifts because they say this is unfinished business. This is what you are here to work on so that your soul can transcend polarity. It can transcend the duality of the opposing extremes that are jarring against each other, that are forming polarizations in your being. So we have significant clues through our autobiographical history. So if you look at the ages that you're born between 0 and 7, and then you look at your development through to 7, let's say to 18, you'll see that it is significantly different. When you are under the age of 7, you are still connected very much to divine force, to love and light. You live in a magical existence with fairies and all sorts of things that are beautiful. You can have a relationship with a garden snail and be absolutely fascinated. And then all of a sudden, a reality sets in, and also an adult reality, slightly cynical, a little bit more realistic to say this is not such an easy place that we live in. There are dangers that you need to be alert to. There is work that you have to do, and you have to make sure that you're doing a lot to show your worth as a performance based in a performance based paradigm. But this is not necessarily the truth of us. The truth of us is love and it is light. And it is eternal connection through consciousness to this incredible universe. So we get conditioned into believing certain things about ourselves. And this is where I come to talk about the shadow side of us. So we We are conditioned by our parents that we need to be scared of this and that and the next thing to keep safe, to survive. Sometimes we learn that we have to perform to get love in order to survive. We are taught many things, many false beliefs about who we are and what we are. So we lose sight of this connection that we have with divine love, with the divine force of this universe. And we start to uh, ground into the world. And the world is quite a harsh machine. It's very mechanistic. It works on a linear time frame of A to B. It doesn't work on a time frame of eternity. So if you're late for a meeting, you are late for a meeting in 4D space and time. And you can't say, oh, well, the meeting was late for me, actually, because we're not living in a quantum reality or an eternal reality. So we have all these challenges, and we have to unprogram our conditioning that tells us that we are not good enough, that we aren't enough the way we are, that if we're not perfect, or if we make this mistake, or if we fail in this arena of life, we are a complete failure. So, in terms of how do we dissolve this karma, we look at our relationships. We look at how we can bring more love and more light into our relationships. We look at ourselves. We go into deep introspection. We go into self reflection. We go into meditation so we can make connection with the divine. So we can get out of our heads and out of the intellectualization of our life. And we can actually start to make progress because we are not trying to solve our problems from the level of the mind. We are doing it through connecting through our heart space, and that is what meditation brings. And then there are other ways. We do our autobiographical journaling. We do guided visualizations. We can do ritual and ceremony. We can spend time in nature's sanctuary. We can really reflect on how we are triggered, where we are triggered, and to start dissolving these triggers in life.
You have so many just wonderful meditations and rituals that you share within your book to help readers kind of navigate, especially those going through a spiritual awakening. Is there one you can share with us?
So, one of the rituals, and I think one of the most profoundly important rituals, is the fourfold breath meditation. And this is an incredible tool. It's a metaphysical tool that allows you to connect to your intuition. And what it does, it encourages you to go into sacred space, to still the mind, and to connect with your breath. And if you breathe in and you hold your breath, and then you breathe out and you hold your breath, it's called the fourfold breath because you're concentrating on the air that is being breathed in and the air that is being breathed out. And really, this very simple breath meditation can take you all the way through to enlightenment if you let it, if you surrender to it, if you allow for that divine connection and you go with your intuition. If you sit for 10 to 20 minutes a day and you do this over a few months, probably nothing will change. But if you do it a bit more and you commit to it, you'll find that all of a sudden things might change. And all of a sudden, there are more synchronicities in your life. You bump into people you wouldn't ordinarily. You have access to information that's quite unusual. And this actually takes on a life of its own. So the commitment to this particular ritual is profound. And I would really encourage it as your daily practice so that you can start getting your thoughts out of time and space.
Well, Terry, where can our listeners connect with you and be part of your community and learn more about your award winning book, New Body, Old Soul?
Well, anybody that would like to read my book, they can purchase it on Amazon. And the link is found on my website. It's my name and surname, which also appears on the book, terriharford.co.za. And if you have any questions and you'd like to contact me through my website, you're more than welcome to do that. And yes, so a print copy is available on Amazon. And I'm still building the idea of a community. This came as quite a surprise, winning the Silver Book Award for the Nautilus Book Awards. So I'm starting to cultivate that so that I can have an actual greater sense of community. It would be wonderful.
Well, Terri, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
It's a pleasure. And thank you, Marianne. It's just been really lovely to speak with you.
Well, thank you, Terri. It's been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about your Nautilus award-winning book, New Body, Old Soul. Make sure to visit Terri at her website at terriharford.co.za for more information on her work and to be part of her community. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.